Afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we'll start with where we have left in the previous session. And I hope, Maruf, you had some issues with that image linking. So is that all sorted? If it's not sorted, we'll just we'll do it at the end of the session. Okay. Is it sorted, Maruf?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You just wait in the session, Maruf. Okay. So today's agenda will complete. And towards the end of the session, you have logged in from your system today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So please be connected with your system. So you can connect at the last 20 minutes or 30 minutes, we'll sort it out. Okay. So let us quickly start today's agenda. All right. So any doubts with the previous classes, guys? Like anything you tried out, like you're not getting something? Is there anything you're not getting? Any doubts? So if that is fine, shall we move to today's session? Yeah. So in today's session, we are going to start with CSS, right? So what is CSS? We are going to discuss what is CSS and how do you add CSS to your file? Okay, and what are the different selectors in CSS?
Ma'am, HTML is complete, ma'am.
We are discussing all the topics. We have to cover all the topics, right, Vikash? I cannot say that HTML is completed totally. We have other tags as well. We have covered what are the necessary tags for this bootcamp, right? So because we have 10 hours, we have to discuss the front end and back end. So few things will be skipped in the bootcamp where you can you can go through it and you can learn those tags, right? So we have to start with React as well. So
I am try this practice, ma'am. Either facing this, ma'am, code. Can you send this class after send this code, ma'am?
Okay, Vikash, I'll just share it. Okay, I'll just talk with our the team. I'll just share it as a Google Drive link or a Git link. Okay, I'll share.
Yesterday class I am try out, ma'am, trying, but code is either, ma'am. Can you send this class after all code, ma'am?
Sure, Vikash, I'll share it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. I'll just put as a note. Okay, yeah. So that I don't forget. Right. So yes, guys. So we are going to start with CSS today. So we are going to discuss what is CSS, how do you add styles to your file, and what are these, I'll tell you, okay, what are selectors, okay, and some basic properties, right? So some basic properties related to your font, based on out of your colors, okay, and we'll be discussing about the box model, right? So these are the things we are going to discuss with CSS. So let us see how far it can be covered today, right? So let us start with it. So I hope by now you would have understood that we can only structure a document, right? Now, what we have to do is we have to style your document, right? We have to organize your content properly to your web page. You have to write a CSS. And that much HTML tag is okay. Yes, Ravi, for learning your React, okay, for building a very basic application, it's more than enough. Whatever we have discussed, we haven't touched up with forms. Okay, I'll also tell you creating forms when you go for React. Okay, I can include few topics when I discuss about React as well, right? See, guys, you would still know that it is a 10-hour bootcamp, right? So we are going to discuss what are the things which are required for in terms of learning your front end and back end, because you have to focus on React and the back end. So we are going to focus much on the JavaScript part, your React and the back end. Okay, so that is why like few things, it won't be covered totally because it won't be like we cannot cover it whole fully in a 10-hour boot camp, right? So that will be covered in our 100 hours program, the entire thing for the full HTML, CSS and things. Now we are just going to see how to add it so that you can get an idea of how to create your React project. I'll take you through the installation and you can start working on that, right? So that is very important as well. Okay, I hope you understood, right? Nikita, are we going to create the React project in this session? No, Nikita, before learning React, you should know JavaScript. Okay, so there are people who are entirely new to this domain. Those who don't know HTML, what is CSS, what is JavaScript. So we'll take through the session. So probably in the upcoming sessions, we would be starting with React. Okay, not with today's session. Today's session is all about CSS. Right. All right, guys. So let us start with it. Now, I'll also tell you Bootstrap. Okay, so I'll tell you how to use Bootstrap. Like those who are very new, you will feel comfortable with Bootstrap. It will be easy than CSS. But few things you have to know. You have to know what are selectors, how to add classes. If you understand this, Bootstrap will be easy. Okay, so let us first understand what is CSS. So as of now, as far as we are concerned, we are creating only the structure, right? We then create the style. We are going to add it through a CSS file. Okay, so CSS is called as a cascading style sheet. And the current version of CSS which we are going to discuss is CSS3, just like how we have discussed HTML5. Okay, so before that, what I suggest you to do is you can have all your styles in a separate folder and you can link it to your file. But there are other options to add your styles as well. Okay, so let us see what are the ways you can add CSS to your file. So the first way is using inline CSS. Okay, so what is inline is you're going to add the style in the tag itself. Right, so wherever I'm defining the tag, wherever I'm creating the tag, there itself you can define the style and the property. Okay, so we have seen different attributes, right? We have seen attributes like href, src, and so on, right? So you can also include your style using an attribute called as style. Okay, so see on the p tag, I'm going to write a style attribute equals, I'm giving double quotes. Now, what values you have to give to this attribute style is you have to give a CSS property. Okay, CSS property and a value. Okay, let us say you have a border, or let us say you have a font color, you have some font size. All these things are properties, right? All these things are CSS properties. Okay, so I'm going to write background color. First, we'll start with the basic ones. I'll take you through different properties in the like when we are going through the flow. Okay, so let us stick on to this background color. So give background hyphen color and give a colon. Okay, the last time and all you just gave href equals a value, src equals a value, right? Now you don't give it like that. It is going to be a pair. Is anyone trying to speak? All right. So now whatever value you're going to give to this style attribute, it's going to be a key value pair. Okay, so what is a key is a property. Okay, so background color is a property. It's a CSS property. And you have to give a sufficient value for that. Okay, now let us say, for example, I'm choosing aqua. Okay, I'm just saving it.
When CSS is 3 types of, no?
Like Maruf, the current version of CSS is CSS3. Okay. How
Okay.
you add to your file, there are different ways. Of that, we are discussing the first way. That is using inline CSS to add style to your file. Okay, ma'am. Right? Actually, there are 3 ways. I'll take you through each one. The first simplest way is using inline CSS. That is, you just write your style with a attribute called as style on the tag. Okay, just like that. I'll save this. We'll run the project. Open your index.html file. So now can you see like what is the difference? What is the difference with the existing code? Like previously you didn't have this colors and all, right? You didn't have the background color. But now you can see it's adding a style, it's adding some properties. Okay. So one such way is using your style attribute. Okay. But now the question is, let us say, for example, I want to apply the background color to my entire document. Okay. To my entire web page. Where should I style it? I want to do it on the entire document. Okay, here the paragraph alone is in aqua. Right now, I want to apply background color to my whole document. What can I do?
I think body.
Exactly. You can do it on the body because inside body only you're going to give all the other tags. So here right away you can put style equals. I can give a background color. Let us say I'm going to give this bisque color. Right, save this. Refresh. Now you can see the whole document is having a particular background color which we have applied. Okay, now my question is, let us say for example, I want to use a background color, say aqua, on all the paragraphs I have in my document. What should we do? Like we have two paragraphs. I think we have two paragraphs for the like two paragraphs in the entire file, right? So I want to apply the same background color to all the paragraphs. How can I do it? So you should do the same thing. You have to take the style property and give it on all the paragraphs, whatever you have in your document. Am I right? Yes. See, if I want to apply the style, again, you have to give that style property to this paragraph tag also. Let us say there are 100 paragraphs. You have to apply style property to all the 100 paragraphs. But that is not going to help in terms of reusability, right? In case if you want to change it suddenly, all the things, right? It's already present in the HTML file. It's difficult to maintain your code. It's difficult to reuse your code. So that is why inline styles will not be used much. Okay, when you go for a real-time application, you can use inline style for the properties which is not going to change at all. Okay, let us say in the body, the background color is, let us say it's fixed. Okay, it's a particular color, it's particular theme color. You're not going to change it for a long run. You can use an inline style. But these things are, you want to apply it frequently for other tags. You want to reuse it. Also, if you are wanting to change it, it will not be easy. So that is why we go to the next approach. Okay, that is your internal CSS. Okay, so what internal CSS is going to do is, you're going to write your style separately in a specific place of your document. Okay, now I'll remove this style from my body. Okay, I'm just saving this down. Now, I told you in the very beginning of the class, we'll also be using head tag when we are discussing about CSS and JavaScript. Right, now you can add your style in your head of your document. Right, so for adding your style here, just write a style tag. Okay, last time style was an attribute to the tag. Now it's style itself is a tag. Okay, and whatever like properties you want to apply, whatever styles you want to make, you can create it within the style tag. Okay, now when I write it like this, okay, last time you went to the tag and gave that attribute, so it was understandable, right? So for the p tag, you're applying a background color. But when you're writing a separate tag for a style, you have to tell which tag you want to style first. Am I right? Now let us say I want to style a p tag, right? Can I remove this too? Can I remove this inline CSS? I'll just put it in OL, okay? In case if you want to refer the code, you will get to know. Okay, now let us say my requirement is I want to apply a particular property for all the paragraph tags in my document. What should we do? We need to tell, like, I want to style on the p tag, right? I need to tell, go to p tag and apply these styles. So that is what we will call as selectors. So I was telling you about selectors in CSS, right? So selectors are nothing but it's going to tell which tag, which place of your document you're going to style, right? So there are different types of selectors. So let us do with the first thing. Okay, so which is a basic selector. We call it as an element selector or a tag selector. Okay, so what is an element or a tag selector is, you just go to your style tag. Okay, I'll tell you this internal thing. Okay, that's it. You're going to write your style within the style tag, which is present in head of your document. Okay, but now here you have to give a selector first and then give your properties. Okay, now what is the selector we are going to do? I want to select a p tag. So just give p tag, just give p and give a curly braces. Okay, give a curly braces. Within this, you have to write your style. Okay, you have to write your properties. Okay, now I can give background color. Okay, let us say I'm going to give carrot blue. Okay, just save this one. Go back and refresh. This one is applied through your inline style, guys. Okay, this will be your inline style. Okay, these two things are coming from your these two things are from your inline, and whatever you have done for paragraph, it's from internal CSS. Okay, is it clear? So first you have to give the tag and then give the properties, whatever you want to apply. So wherever the document you're having, like what do you say, you have the p tag, it's going to apply that style. Is it clear? Any doubts
Yes,
with this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, now my question is, let us say you have a lot of p tags. Okay, for most of the tags you want to apply background color caded blue, but only for few paragraphs I want to give a separating. Okay, I'll repeat this code. Wait a minute. Where we will do it is, I create another p tag. Okay, so lorem, the emmet abbreviation, save this, refresh. And now only 3 paragraphs is having the same background color, right? So if I want to have only the first 2 paragraphs as one color, I want the second one with a different color, or any of these one with a different property, how to do it? Because you gave p tag, right? It's going to apply the style for all the p tags, right? So it will be difficult, right? Now you have to choose a particular tag and you're going to tell this is a style I want to apply. Okay, so in that case, we are going to use some other selector. Okay, and before that, tell me, how do I style my body now? Like, let us say I want to have a same background color to the entire document. How can we do it? You can give body, right? So you can give body, you can give the background color. Let us say you're giving cold. Okay, save this and refresh. Now you can see like you're having it for the entire body. Okay, now what is the next scenario? What is the next requirement I asked you for? I asked you that I want any one of these paragraphs with a different color. Okay, so that case we'll be using different selectors. Okay, one is an ID selector. Okay, the other one is a class selector. Yes, you're right. So class selector and ID selector we are going to use, right? So let us first see what is ID selector, what is class selector, and what is the difference. Okay, mostly you'll be using a class selector only. I'll tell you why we are using class selector. Okay, but there is also another option which is called as an ID selector. Okay, so let us discuss about that. Is it clear so far, guys? Like, what is a selector? You understood, right?
No, ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah, please.
Please explain this selector once again.
Yes, Lakshesh, yeah. So see, like basically, like here, when you have given an inline style, right? When I gave an inline style, what was the problem? You have to give it to each tag separately. You have to type this style and the property wherever you want to apply it, right? Let us say I have some list tag. I want to apply the style. I want to apply the background color aqua for all the list tags which are available. You have to repeat this code. You have to repeat the style attribute to all the tags. Am I right? Do you think this is going to be reusability, like, or is it like you are repeating the code?
Repeating.
You're repeating the code. So generally, in terms of software, like mostly you'll be trying to reuse your code, right? For reusing it, right? So what you can do is you can write the style inside a selector. Okay. So mostly this will be done in your internal and external CSS. So internal CSS, write your style tag inside your head part of your document. And within that, you now, like last time, it was very easy, right? You just went to that tag, you gave the style attribute, it understood that style and it applied. Fine. But now what is the issue? When you're writing it in a separate place of a document, you have to tell which part of the document you're going to style, which tag you're going to style, right? So for that, we are using a selector. Okay, so when I say P is a tag, right? That is a name, that is a tag name. So just give P and open a curly braces. So why we give a curly braces is one tag can have several property. Okay, let us say I have given a background color, right? So let us say I'm just giving color. Okay, I'm giving a crimson. Save this.
Ma'am, one percentage.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, only for using P tag, not for any other tag, like H1, H2.
You can use it for anything. You can use it for any tag. Just for a demo, I have shown with P tag.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, yeah. So you can also give color. I'll tell you about the properties, guys. Okay, I'll tell you a few basic properties which you have, like which you'll be using most. So just for in this case, I have also used color. So you'll be using a lot of properties. It's not like only one tag. I'm going to give only one property. Okay, you can give a lot of properties within this. You can give text font, like font size. You can give the indentation. All the things can be given. So that is why we use this curly braces. To enclose all these styles, right, we are using the curly braces. Similarly, whatever tags you want to have, sorry, I just clicked a wrong link. So whatever tag you are selecting here and whatever style you write within that selector, it will be applied to all the tags in that document. Okay, you can apply to any tag, guys. Okay, you can also apply to H1. Let us say for H1, I'm giving a background color, a different color. So you can use it for any tag. You can use it for OL, you can use it for UL, you can use for A tag, you can use it for anything, right? So that's about your selector, guys. Okay, what is this selector called as? It's called as a tag or an element selector. Okay, very basic type of selector. Now, what is the problem with this tag or element selector is it is going to apply to all the tags. Whenever it sees a P tag or whenever it sees a H1 tag, it's going to apply that style. But sometimes you have to give a different style for only one part of your document, even though if it is a paragraph tag, how to do it. So two ways. One is using an ID selector and one is using a class selector. Okay, now I have the second paragraph, right? So I'm just going to write ID equals para2. Okay, I'm just writing ID equals para2. You can give any value right here. Okay, I'm just giving para2 in this example. Now, in this selector, you come back to your selector. Now, P means like it is going to select that tag. Now, I want to select the paragraph who has the ID para2. So, for giving that, you will be giving ID selector starting with the hash. So already we have used IDs here, right? So whenever you refer to IDs, you will be using a hash. In href also we have done, right? So the same way in selectors, you have to give a hash and preceded by the ID name. So what is the ID name I created for the para2?
All ID just show of hashtag.
Yeah, like here you don't need to write with hash, Maruf. Just give ID equals you. It's like some name. Okay, you are naming that tag. Now you're referring with this name, okay. You're styling so that it will be applied to only this tag. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So now when you're selecting it, right? Now last time I just wrote P tag. Now you cannot write it like that. I want separately my para2 alone. Okay, that separate thing which you have created ID. So when you're referring to your ID, start it with hash and give that ID name. So what is the ID name? It's para2. So do the curly braces. Now I'll give a background color as a gray color. Okay, save this one. Go back and refresh. Can you see all the paragraphs are with that caded blue, some blue color background, but only para, like the para2, which you have referred with ID is with a different background color. So you can target a particular tag, right? If you want that alone to be a different style, you can use an ID selector. Is it clear? Guys, any doubts with ID selectors?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. So the next is, what is a class selector? Okay, so the same thing I'll do here. Okay, I'm taking a OL tag. Okay, and to this OL tag, I'm going to give a class. Now class is an attribute. Okay, I'm giving equals. I'll just give OL1. Okay, I'm just giving ordered list 1. Save this. Now, just like how you have used hash for the ID selectors, right? Before that selector, I have used a hash, right? So the same way what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use a dot. Okay, I'm going to use a dot for the class selector. So dot. So what is the class name we have created? I think we have created OL1, right? So OL1. and give some background color to this. Save this one. It's more like your background color. So let me try with a different color. It's working, but still it's more or less the same, just to make the difference. Can you see this list is in different color? But still it's working like an ID selector only, right? It is just selecting that particular tag with that class and it's applying. And also you can reuse this class. Okay, say for example, I want the same like the pista green color in some other tag, you can also use that. Okay, let us say here I have an H3, right? So to this H3, I'll give class equals OL1. Okay, I'm just saving this and refresh. Can you see the heading? The heading 3 is also applied with that particular color. So classes are also reusable. IDs are also reusable. Okay, now let us say in this old tag, I'm giving ID equals, what is the ID we have created? I think it's para2. Okay, save this. And now you can see this is in gray color. Okay, so if you want that property to be applied to the class, the other tags, you can apply that class or you can apply that ID. Okay, am I clear with this?
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. But there should be some difference, right? So far, your class selector and ID selector is behaving more or less the same. There is no actual difference, right? So there should be some difference. Let us figure it out what it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another class selector and another ID selector. Okay. So let me do the ID selector first. So I'm just giving hash. What name we'll give? I'll give SEL2. Okay, selector 2. Here I'll give dot SELC2. Okay, I'm going to give some style within this. So this is what selector? What the selector is? Is it an ID selector or a class selector?
ID selector.
It's ID selector. This is a class selector. Okay.
And,
Now let us.
this is
Yeah.
class selector.
Yeah, this is a class selector, right? So now I'm going to give a style for color. Okay, I'll give deep pink here for the ID. And here I'll give color is some, what color? We'll give this gold color. Okay, something which is not similar. Okay, I'm just saving this. Okay, now what I'm trying to do is just go to the tag. Okay, I'm just working on this P tag and this old tag is okay. Leave the other things, just notice what happens here. I have one ID, right? I have an ID attribute. So for this ID attribute, I'm trying to give two values. Okay, I'm trying to give two values. So already para2 you have given. Now I'm going to include the other style also. What is it? So hash SEL2. Okay, so I'll just give SEL2 here. Okay, and for the class also I'm doing the same. Okay, so OL1 and SELC2. Okay, so this is a ID selector we created. The style is what? I think it's some pink and this is should be in gold. Okay, and what is the background color for the ID selector? ID selector was dark gray and for the class selector it was the pista green, right? Now save this. I'll tell you this format, guys. Okay, don't need to worry about what is this format and all. So just save this one. Go back and refresh. So see the second P tag. Okay, like this is where we have applied the style using ID selector. Am I right? See? Right? So here we have applied the style. So para2 and SEL2. So according to that, what we should have got in the output? We should have got the background color gray with a deep pink text color. Am I right? Yes. I'll repeat my question again. So here I'm trying to add two styles. Okay, I'm adding two selector on the attribute. Last time you were giving only one thing. One was working fine. Okay, if I just give para2, what will be the result, guys? If I just give para 2, it's giving the background color with gray. Okay, that you know. Also, in few selectors, you can give more than 2 values to it. So I created another selector called as SEL2. So I should have got that gray color background with the pink color text. But is it working? I'm showing the code, I'm showing you the output. Interpret and tell me it's working or not. This is the paragraph we are actually styling. Okay. So if I give one value, save it, refresh, it's working. Okay, background color is working. But if I add 2 selectors value here, it's applying the default style. Okay, default style, because you already told for all the p tag what style you have to make. So it is taking that style only. It's not taking the style of an ID selector. Am I right? Please respond.
Ma'am, once more.
Yeah, sure. See, this you are clear, right? When you had applied one ID, this is ID selector, right? You have created the rule there. What is the rule for para 2 you have given? You have given a background color what? You have given a dark gray. Okay, this is the one. So what is the meaning? When you are giving that ID name here, ID equals para 2. If the program is seeing that ID equals para 2, it will apply the background color dark gray. Am I right? This is clear. So you got the gray color output. Fine. Now I'm trying to give one another selector here. That is SEL2. So in SEL2, what is the style I have made? I have made the text color should be deep pink. Okay. But now when I refresh, is it giving any of the output, either a dark gray background or either a text color with pink? Is it giving that output? It's not. Okay, so what is the meaning is, but see what your class selector now. Okay, on contrary to that, come to your old tag. Okay, have used 2 classes. One is OL1 and SELC2. So pista green and a text color gold. Okay, but if you see the output, is it working or not?
No, ma'am.
It's working. See, like, let me change the color. I think the pista green is somewhat dull. Wait, I'll give some color. I'll give red and yellow, that will be bright. See? Is it applying or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's applying it. So that
Yes.
is a difference, right? So if you're writing a class attribute, you can add any number of styles, any number of selectors to a particular class attribute. You cannot again write like this, guys. Again, you cannot write class equals, can we give SELC2? You cannot do it. Okay, only once you can write the attribute, but you can give multiple values for class attributes. But for ID attribute, it will take only one value. Okay, it can't take more than one selector as a value. If you're giving only one selector, it will work fine. Okay, is it clear? What is the difference between ID and a class selector?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So now let us move on to the next selector. And before moving, I'll tell you one best way to write your style. So what type of linking is this, guys? Like how, like all these things we have seen how to add CSS, right? So one way is using inline and one way is using internal. So what you have to do in internal, you are writing a style tag in the head part. Instead of doing this, instead of writing your style in your HTML file, you can create a separate file for CSS and add it to your HTML. Okay, because that will be easier. You can have your style separate file. It won't be disturbing your HTML file. Okay, only this part I'm telling. Okay, only this part. The rules alone I'm telling. But here you have to include your selectors. Okay, no difference with that. Okay, so let me tell you that. And I got a doubt, Rohit. Can we use same ID for 2 different elements? Yes, Rohit, you can use. Okay, that is what we have done, right? So I have used this ID equals para 2 here for this paragraph. And somewhere else did I use? Here also I have used, right? So ID equals para 2. So after the service, whatever the ordered list tag you have, you will have it gray. And this paragraph is also in gray. You can use ID on more than 2 elements, but you cannot use 2 ID selectors on the same element. That is the difference.
Got it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. For ID, we can give only one value, but for class, more than one value. Exactly, Pradeep. Okay, for that attribute, it will take only one value. ID will take only one value, but class will take more than one selector. We cannot say its value, you can say selector. It will take more than one selector value. Right? Yeah. So where I was like discussing, yeah, I was discussing about this adding your style, right? So we are writing everything in the HTML, right? It looks somewhat awkward. So better you can have this as in a separate place and add it. So what you do is go to your project folder. Okay, create a folder for your style. Okay, so just click on new folder. I'm just going to create a folder with the name styles. And within this, I'm going to create one new file. Okay, I'm creating a new file. I'll just call it as mystyle.css. Now, what is the difference between this HTML file and this CSS file, guys? Last time, what was the extension? For the HTML, it's .html. But now for CSS, it's with the extension .css. Okay, just give enter. And whatever you created here inside your style tag, you just cut this. Okay, I'm just going to cut this. Okay, and you can also delete the style tag. We are not going to use it. I'm going to my CSS file and paste whatever we have written. So all these selectors we have written, right? So I'm going to write these selectors inside this file. But now, is there any relationship between this index.html and this style file? We call it a style sheet. Okay, the CSS file, we call it a style sheet. There is no relationship between these things, right? It's not connected. Now we have to link it together. For linking it, what you have to do is go to the head part of your document and give a link tag. Okay, someone has already answered right in the chat box. Yes, Sachin, exactly. So you're going to use a link rel value. Okay, link tag basically. So I'll just tell you one shorthand, just type link and give a tag. Okay, so you're getting this thing, right? So link rel equals style sheet. This is the default value you have to give. So what is the relationship between this HTML file and that style sheet? It's a style sheet which you're going to apply. So rel will be style sheet by default. And in href, you have to add the link to this. So just like how you have added images from your folder, the same way you're going to do. So where is the CSS file residing? It's residing in a separate folder, right? So give that folder name styles/mystyle.css. Okay, just save this code. Now go back and refresh. Is there any change? There is no change. It is adding this time. Suppose if I'm not giving this line. Okay, let us say I'm not giving this line. See, is it applying any style? Instead of that inline style, like whatever you have written in that style sheet is not applied. This is your inline style. Inline style will be applied. Yeah. I just removed that link tag. Okay, and whatever I have done as an inline style, it is working. Inline style will work because you're writing it on the tag. But whatever I have written in the style sheet is not applied to the HTML file. So for that, for making it work, you're adding this link tag. So it will add this CSS file to your HTML and it will apply all your styles. Is it clear, everyone? Yeah. So if that is fine, shall we see few more selectors? I think these are very basic things. Obviously, you'll be using these selectors, okay? So here you have this div tag, right? So div tag, you have ID equals home. You can also style on your div tags also. See, for example, I'll remove the P tag style, okay? I don't want that. I'm going to, yeah. So here what I'll do is I'm going to give a style for div tag. Okay, you can also give it for div tag. So I'm just giving a this color. Save this. Refresh. Can you see the div tag alone is in a different color, right? The div tag alone. So you can style it on any tags, guys. Okay, it's not with it's a division tag only. Can we style? It's not like that. You can give it for anything. Am I clear?
Ma'am, show me on link tag.
Yes, Maruf, is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
So is it clear, everyone? So any doubts with this? Any doubts with this, guys? No doubts. Great. Okay, now let us say you want to give like you want to apply the same style for all the tag selectors. You can use group selectors. Okay, so what are the different types of selectors we have seen? We have seen element, ID, class. Okay, the fourth one is going to be a group selector. Okay, what a group selector will do is, suppose if you want to apply the same style for all the all the other tags or even selectors, you can use a group selector. Okay, let us say for all the heading tags, you want to apply a dark golden red. I mean dark golden rod. You can just separate it by comma. You can give H1 comma, H2 comma, H3 comma, H4, H5, H6. So all the tags will be applied with the dark golden rod color. Okay. So for this services, I have used a class selector. Okay, it's showing a red color. Okay, but it is going to apply all these style for whatever heading is there. Okay, let us say here itself, below that MERN stack, I'll create another heading. Let us say H2. Okay, I'll say Mongo, Express, React, and Node. Right, so you can see like all the headings is applied with that style. You can also combine with other tags. It's not that only heading tags can be combined. It's not like that. You can combine with any other type of tag. So see, I'm giving H1 comma P. It is going to apply it for the P tag. Okay. Right. So you can also give ID selectors, class selectors here as well. Say you don't want this hash para2. Okay, I'll give hash para2 here. Hash para2. So wherever you have applied the ID para2, that will also be applied with that style. See, this one is applied with that dark golden rod. Is it clear, everyone? Guys, is it clear? Any doubts with this?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Yeah. So, and what are comments? I actually forgot to tell you this, guys. So if you want to comment on something, you don't want that to execute, okay? You just want to have that code, just like some documentation or something, you can comment to your code. It won't be applied to your output. Okay, so you can use a /*, okay, and a //, right? So you can just save this. Like you can see, the styles, whatever you have applied in the below part, this one is not shown to the output. Okay, so
Ma'am,
you
this
can
comment
just,
is multi-comment.
yeah, this is multi-comment, but actually in CSS, you don't have single line comment. Okay, even if you want to comment a single line, like we have double // in other programming language like this, right? So here in CSS, your single line comments is not supported. Even if you want to comment a single line, you have to use this convention only. So you have to use /* and a // only. Okay, even if this is single or multiple line comments, anything. Okay, this is comments in CSS. If you want to comment anything in your HTML, what you can do is, let me comment this part, maybe this UL tag. So just give the angular braces, give an exclamation, and give 2 hyphens. Okay, and you can write your comments between that hyphens. Okay, so again, hyphen, close angular braces. So this will be commented and it will not be shown to your output. Okay, inside services, you can see now only one list is displayed. So clear with what are comments in HTML and CSS, guys? Any doubts with this?
Ma'am, can you show what the command did in practical?
Yes, Lakshay. See, if I'm not giving this comment, let me show the HTML first. If I'm not giving this comment, just look at the services div. Okay. So in services, I have a heading, I have an ordered list, I have an unordered list, right? Now just save this. I didn't comment anything. Okay. So what will be displayed? So in services, you have that heading services. This is ordered and this is unordered list. Suppose you don't want to show this to your output, but you want that code. Okay. You want that code for testing or something. You can comment that. Okay. So for what I'm doing is for the UL tag, I'm opening the Anglo braces, exclamation, hyphens, and close it with hyphens and Anglo braces. So this won't be shown to your output. Okay. Save this. Okay, I'm refreshing now. See, is it showing that unordered list? It's not. Right, so it will just not show that output to your screen. That's it. Is it all clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is what your like CSS and like the basic HTML thing is. I'll take you through some basic properties with CSS as well. But before that, I just wanted to explain you about what is a DOM. Okay, so what is document object model? So in the very first beginning of your class, I was telling you about the advantage of React. So if you remember, I would have told you what is React DOM. Because of React DOM only, React is very popular and people have just moved to React. Right? Do you remember this DOM word when I was telling in the very first session? Yes, such a universal selector and body tag, if you're selecting, is both same. So you can also use universal selector. I'll show that. Let me first discuss about the DOM because that is very important when you go for scripting. Okay, especially with React. What is the difference you should understand? Okay, I'm not talking about React.js, guys. Okay, I'm just trying to explain. There is one component, see, it's very simple. I told you that whatever you see on the display, right? Whatever you see on the browser, you're writing it as a tag here. Am I right? Whatever content you're writing, are you writing the content directly like a Word file? Are you writing directly the content, just the heading, a link? Without a tag, are you writing anything with your HTML? We ain't write anything without a tag. Okay. But are these tags shown to your output like body or div or h1 is shown to your output here anywhere? Only the content is taken and it is represented by the browser. Am I right? Now my question is, how is that happening? How is that interpreting that tag? It's taking only that content. It's able to understand the attributes. It's able to understand the style and convert it to an output. Is a browser that intelligent? Is it a standalone browser or is there some program which is helping it to do? That is a question, right? Now it won't be done by a browser basically. Okay, browser has other functionalities like it handles with your request response, a lot more things. Browser has many capabilities. Okay, but how this is made possible, how it is able to interpret your HTML is using a DOM. Okay, so DOM, we call it as a document object model. What this will do is it will take your HTML as your input, even your CSS JavaScript, it will interpret everything and show you result as a website. Okay, I'll just show you one tool, how the DOM will be interpreting. Okay, so there is a tool, live DOM viewer. I think this is the link. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is the one. See, I will be writing my HTML here. Okay, I'll just cut this one. We are going to write a HTML here. I'll just take a very small code. Okay, just this one. I'll give a style tag here. Okay, so style equals background color. I'm giving some salmon. Okay, very simple file. Copy this. Put it down here. See, it's showing you three things. What are the three things it's showing you? It's showing you what is the markup. That is what is the HTML you're writing. Okay, and what is the DOM view and what is the rendered view. Okay, wait a minute. It will not understand these things. Okay. This DOM viewer will not understand the pre-processing things, guys. Okay, just see with the body tag. Okay, so can you see this? You can give title. Title will work actually. Title. Okay, now this is the code which I have written. But how the browser will understand is, browser will be having a program which is running behind. We call it as a DOM. Okay, as a document object model. So it will be converting your program like this. So can you see it's like a tree? It's like it's represented here like that, but it will be represented as a tree data structure, guys. Okay, so trees are nothing but it will be having root like nodes and edges. Okay, node and edges, like it will be just like a tree. Okay, let us say when I say a HTML, what is a root node or what is a root tag for all the elements? For all the elements, including a head and body. Who's the root? Who's the parent?
HTML.
HTML, right? So you can see HTML is represented first and also it's having the attributes, right? So like if you draw it, if you want to conceptually visualize, it will be looking like this. So first HTML will be created. Okay, also it will be having a meta information. We call it as attributes. So whatever attributes you have it will be having a meta information. So whatever you had, so lang equals eng will be stored here. Okay, and similarly, what is the next node immediate to your HTML? There are two children for HTML, right? So what are the two children tags for HTML tag?
Head and body.
Head and body.
Head and body, right? So head, it's going to create head and it's going to create body. So the same way it's created, see, HTML, so head and the body. So again, if you drill down, again in head, you'll be having a title. Again, in a body, what we have a h5 tag. For that, see, where the text is present, it will be created on a node separately. Okay, again, it's a meta information. Okay, it will be having a small meta information, means additional information. Okay, and this node itself, it will be having a text node. We call it as a text node. Okay, so the text will be services offered. So this text alone will be shown to your output and this style will be applied on this text. So this is how your program is converted to a DOM tree and it is represented as an output. So here we have that rendered view, right? So whatever I have done with this DOM tree, the same thing is converted as a rendered view here. Okay, is it clear? Like how it is interpreted? Without this DOM, if your DOM is outdated or if it's not working properly, you won't be able to see anything to your browser. Even though your HTML is right, you will not see any output to the viewer. Okay, that is to your browser if this DOM is not working fine. Am I clear? Guys, am I clear?
Ma'am, so basically DOM is it's like converting all the code, it's processing the code and then putting it on the web page, is it?
Exactly, Prashant. So we cannot directly interpret, like any programming language you take, someone has to interpret or someone has to compile and give us the representational output, right? So that will be taken care by DOM in case of HTML. That is one applicability. What is the next applicability is, we'll be writing JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is programming. Okay, and one more thing, guys, please remember, whatever you create with HTML, okay, it's static. So static means if I say I want to edit some part of this document, I want to change this heading, or I want to render something different, it cannot be done because whatever you write on the code, you get it on the output. Am I right? But in some cases, when you write with JavaScript, you can take the input from the user. You can show that output in that browser. Like say, for example, let us assume you have one place to type your text. Okay, we call it as text box technically. I'll tell you when we go for React. Let us say you're typing your name here. Okay, and once you click on some button, you'll be getting your name on the browser, the same browser. Am I right? Welcome. Let us say welcome user. You will get your username directly. But is that program, like whatever HTML, if you write it like that, can you write for multiple users? We cannot do it. Anyhow, whatever the user is giving in the real time, it will be processed by the program and shown on your browser. Am I right? Yes. Guys, assume you have a web page. Okay, you have one web page where you have some text box. You type your name. Okay, you type your name, you type your username, you enter to the application. The next page itself, you will be getting welcome. Let us say welcome Prashant. Okay, you are getting a message like this. Now let us say I am going to type my name here. My name will be coming there. But whoever has written the program, will they know what are the names the user will give and create every program for that? It will be practically impossible. So whatever input the user is giving, you have to process it through your program and put that output to your browser. Put that output in this application. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how that is done is, it will be done by JavaScript. You will be accessing your DOM through JavaScript. Okay, I'll be accessing my DOM. I'll say, see, go to this H1 tag. In this text place, I also want to add whatever the user has given as input. So we will be accessing this DOM if you want to change anything dynamic on this web page. I hope it's clear. Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now that is how normal JavaScript works. Okay. Now, what is the interesting thing about React is when I say that I'm accessing my DOM, let us say you have some 5 tags here. Okay. Let us say there are 5 tags within the body. Okay. 5 different tags are there. Out of that 5 tags, you have one H5 tag. Okay. Here you are going to change the text. Okay. Let us say there is no text initially. Okay. You're going to put the text what the user is giving. Let us say a username. Okay, username. Now, when the application is loading, when your program is running, okay, again you want to update this information here. Out of the 5 nodes, how many node has changed? Out of the 5 different nodes, all the 5 nodes are changing or only one node is changing here? I'll repeat my question. Let us say you are writing one program. Okay, I'll show you here. Remove my annotations. Close it. Okay, let us say I have 3 nodes, guys. Okay. Okay, see here, this is my DOM, right? So when the user is giving some input and it is processed, okay, I want to add that username to this text. Okay, you can do that through JavaScript. You don't need to worry how it is done. Okay, leave that part. Okay, you're going to update in this particular node, right? So this particular H5 tag alone, you're going to change. Now my question is, there are other nodes also here. Nodes means HTML is one node. I have drawn that circle, right? Every circle is a node. So HTML is one node, head is one node, title is one node, body is one node, H5 is one node, this H5 is one node, right? The question is, which node is changing out of all these nodes?
The one with welcome.
Yes, only this node is updating. Okay. Now the question is, practically you think, okay, leave the application, leave programming point of view. Practically, let us say you have a house. Okay, one room's painting is spoiled. Okay, only one room's painting is spoiled. It's not looking neat. The other places are all good. Okay, let us say kitchen is the most like dirtiest place ever, right? So like we cook, it's getting dirty often. Only that room needs renovation. It needs painting. But rest of the other rooms in a home is neat and clean. Will you paint the whole home or will you paint only the kitchen?
Only kitchen.
If you have enough money, we can paint the full home. But practically, any practical person would paint only the kitchen if everything else is fine. That is what logically is correct, right? But what will happen in JavaScript is, it will renovate the entire home. It will paint the entire home, which means that in JavaScript, only one node is changing. It will re-render, it will refresh all the other nodes, even though there is no change. So do you think that it is beneficial in terms of applications performance?
No.
When I say I have a very large website, okay, only one part of a website is changing. If it is reloading the website, old website again, you will get that round symbol every time that website, right? Loading. So these websites are written in pure JavaScript. You can understand whatever websites are taking long time to load, they have used pure JavaScript to write it. Because your application will be loading, the DOM is loading. Okay, so for overcoming that only we are using React. Okay, what React will do is, for accessing your DOM, it will take that node, whatever is updating only it will update. Okay, it is not going to update the other parts. Okay, only say you are updating only the h5 tag, right? It's going to update that only. It's not going to disturb the other parts of your node. So which is better? Do you think JavaScript, pure JavaScript is better or React is better?
JavaScript is.
JavaScript,
React,
React
React,
is-
React.
right?
React.
So that is why, guys, okay? So few things with JavaScript, it's better, okay? Again, I can say React itself is written in JavaScript, okay? That's completely fine. But the way how you access your DOMs, there are some frameworks for making all these things possible. Whatever problems you have with JavaScript has been overcome through your React.js. So that is why it's a popular framework. Even in Angular, this is not possible. I can ask me, ma'am, how about Angular or other JavaScript frameworks? Even there, the way how you update your DOM is not the same. Okay, it will be like JavaScript only. So that is why React is faster. Whenever you see whatever application is built with React, the way the page loads, the time it's going to take, it will be very less because the updates is happening only for particular node. Okay, I hope it's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is with the DOM, guys. Okay, I thought of telling you this in the HTML itself. I just want you people to settle down, like to understand what is the structure. Later you can understand it. Okay, so this is something beyond. I could have told you in JavaScript itself, but just have this point in mind. Okay, when we go for JavaScript, I'll tell you like what are the topics which are required for React. Okay, because JavaScript is very vast again. So I'll tell you what are the topics which are required for learning React, like the ES6 convention, the recent ones, and then we'll move on to the React. Right. So let us continue from here, guys. So I was talking about CSS, right? So let us discuss some more thing in CSS for another 5 minutes. And also, I think Maruf had the issue with this linking. We'll sort it out and then wind up for today. So before that, we'll see another selector. I think someone pinged. I think it's Sachin. We are telling about a universal selector. So what is a universal selector is, guys, it will apply the style to all the contents of your web page. So already we are doing it with the body tag, right? So body is also applying all this style to the entire file. So instead of giving a body tag selector here, you can use a star. Okay, you can give a star, save this, and go back and refresh your web page. It's kind of different, like, wait a minute. With the spaces, it will be different. So you can see it's applying the entire thing with a particular background color, right? But see, when I give body, just see the difference, okay? So coral is my background color. So here you had that div tag, right? So div tags, it was fully filling with that color. Okay, but when you give a universal selector as a star, see what happens to your div tag. Star. So it's showing the background color overlapping your div tags. Okay, so that is the only difference. So either you can use a star or you can do it on a body. So however you wish, you can use either a universal selector or you can do it with the body tag. Okay, so clear with the types of selectors, guys. So element, ID, class, group, and the last one is going to be your universal selector. Okay, is it all fine? So I'll just tell you a few properties which you'll be using. So one is, we have discussed about the colors, right? So in colors, what is the format you're giving the value, guys? So you're giving background color, and what you're giving that color name. So instead of giving that, you can give different formats of how to make frame. A frame, you're asking about a layout, Sachin. Yeah. So there are different models for that. Okay, like you have your box models, you have grids, you have flex. Okay, that is again vast. I'll tell you how to use some, create some layouts with Bootstrap. Okay, because since many are beginner here, to be beginner friendly, we'll focus on the Bootstrap. Okay, I'll tell you about box model because you have to work with your padding, margin, spaces and all. So that I'll tell you in the next session, like how to create some layout, right? How to center it, all these basic things I'll tell you. But creating the actual layout or creating some reusable components, since many of you are very new here and we have to move to the next thing, I'll take you through Bootstrap and you can do it with that easily. You don't need to write all these styles. You can reuse these styles which is already defined in Bootstrap. Okay, so those things I'll tell you. For making paragraph center, yes, I'll tell you all these things now. See, I'll style on my p tag. Okay, so there are some properties called as text properties. Okay, you have a text align property. Okay, so just give text align center, save it. Can you see? It's with the center align, like it's justification. Okay, I cannot exactly say that it's alignment. Like we have the justification properties in Word document, right? The same thing. So you can do it with center, or you can do it with end. Okay, start, justify. You can give all these options, right? So this is a justified text. And if you want to move your heading, let us say you're having a heading, let us say it's H1. Okay, instead of background color, I'm going to give text align center. Save it. Now, can you see the, like your headings, that is your H1 will be moved to your center. So that is your text align property. Okay, and then you have many properties with text decoration. Suppose you want to have underline. Okay, you want to have overline and all, you can do it with text decoration. Okay, so I can give underline. You can explore the values for this, guys. Okay, when you type itself, it will be giving you in the auto suggestion. Okay, so you can give text decoration underline. And now let us say you have these links here, right? Okay, you want to increase the font size. Okay, let us say you want to increase the font size. So what is the tag for link? It's a tag, right? So I can give font size. Okay, you have different convention. Okay, large, extra large, small, medium. Okay, I can give extra large. Save it. See, all your links is somewhat bigger, right? So how to create spaces, I'll tell you, because here it's very closer, right? The links are very closer. You can create these spaces. I'll tell you how to do that when we go for box model, right? So we can do that. So that is your font size. You can also change your font family. Okay, I'm just giving font family. Okay, you can give any of these values. Okay, let us say I'm selecting this value. Everything will be coming auto suggestion, guys. Okay, that is why I suggested you the VSC. Okay, can you see the difference in font between the previous and this? Right? Now the question is, how many values did I give to this font family? The other things, you gave the property, you gave one value, but how many values am I giving here for a font family? So you have given 4 values, right? So Franklin Gothic medium, Arial narrow, Arial and sans serif, right? So these values, right? So these values, why we are giving 4 values is it's just for the browser compatibility. Okay, because browsers cannot understand all the font family. It cannot understand all the font style. Suppose if I'm viewing this on Chrome, Franklin is working on Chrome. Okay, but it might not work on Firefox. It is not supported in Firefox. Okay, it will show you the default text only. Okay, so for overcoming that, you can give an optional here. So Arial narrow, Arial sans serif. So if this is not present, it will try if this is present. If it is not present, it will go and check for the others. It will apply it. If any of these is not found, it will give you the default style, what is displayed in the beginning. Right? Am I clear? So these are some basic like typography and like color properties you have. You can just play around this, guys. Okay, you can also go back and see what are the other properties with related to text. Okay, there are many text properties like you have text indent. You can give word spacing. Like last time someone asked, right? How to create space between 2 words. Okay, there is a property called as, I think it's word spacing. Yeah, so word spacing. You can give some value here. Okay, it's given in px. Okay, the values are going to be given in px. Let us say I'm giving 10 px. Save it. Okay, can you see this one? Where is it? Where I have applied? I have applied for h1. See, for h1, this one and this one is separated with 10 px space. Okay, if you're not giving that, it will be different. If I'm giving that, you can see the space is different. Okay, guys, is it clear? So these are some basic properties you have. Okay, you can just play around and create all your tags. Okay, you can like you can create like whatever website you want. You can start creating it. Uday, I'll tell you when we go for models, Uday, because with layout only you can understand. Okay, how to convert to inline to block. Okay, I'll tell you that separately because you know some advanced topics. I think you can relate it, but I don't want to go that confusing. Okay, so tomorrow session, the last 10 minutes, I'll connect with you. I'll just show you how inline block and inline works because I can show you with grid system and flex only. Okay, we'll do that. I remember that question. Okay, don't need to worry. So this is with it, guys. Okay, I will share you this code. I will post it to the Google Drive and I'll share the link with you all. So just stay with me for a moment. And by the way, I'll just share this link with your coordinator, guys. Okay, I'll just share it with Sagar and the team will send it back to you. Okay, they'll communicate with this code repository where it is. And before that, Maruf, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Maruf. So you can share your screen and just tell me what issue you have. We can sort it out.
Ma'am, send the code. I will solve in my problem.
Okay, Maruf, fine. So then I'll put it in the drive. I'll share it with your coordinators. They will send it back to you guys. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's it from my side, guys. So I just wanted to take, if any doubts are there, like anything with today's session, anything you want me to discuss, I can do it. So just try to like just go back and just try to refresh whatever we have discussed and just let me know if you have any doubts. Meanwhile, I'll put it to your drive. Don't leave the session, guys. You have another session.
Ma'am, before we go, I just have one small question.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, we were talking about DOM. So
Yeah.
where exactly does this DOM happen? Where does this process happen? Is it in my browser or is this like a separate web server or something? Or what exactly, I mean, where exactly does this process happen?
It's on your browser, Prashant. You were right. It's a program, an additional piece of program, which is there in your browser. When you install your browser itself, the DOM will be installed.
Okay.
Yeah. So wait a moment, guys. I'll just post it to the drive.
Ma'am, tomorrow which topic class?
tomorrow we'll be continuing with CSS layout Maruf, and then we'll start with Bootstrap.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bootstrap, yes, Pradeep. It's also a framework written in CSS and JavaScript. Okay, guys. I've just uploaded it to the drive, guys. Okay, I'll send it to the team and they'll share it with you shortly. Okay, so any other doubts you have? If you have, kindly let me know. Ma'am, are we going to learn intro about JavaScript in 10 days bootcamp or directly in main? Like I hope everyone, Uday, you know JavaScript already, some basics. Yeah, so if you know the basics, I think you can cope up with it. Maybe 2 classes, that is 2 hours to 2.5 hours, we'll be having a JavaScript. Okay, a JavaScript session. Like JavaScript is very vast, okay, because it's a general purpose scripting language, right? So I'll be focusing on the topics which are required for React. Okay, because DOM manipulation and all we won't be using in React. Okay, so you'll be using all the ES6 convention. So whatever is required for learning your React, those things will have an introduction, and then we'll move on to React and starting some backend URLs. Okay, so that is the plan. I'm also learning React, means just started. Yes, Uday, like if you know JavaScript, well and good, but those who are very entirely new, they're also here, right? So we are going to start with some basics and whatever is required for React, I'll give you some idea so that you can learn React as well. How many framework is there for JavaScript? How many to tell you the numbers, like what are the frameworks I know is you have Angular is JavaScript, React is JavaScript, Node is JavaScript, whatever ends with JS is JavaScript frameworks, okay, either framework or a library. Okay, there are many things, Vue, Vanilla, there are many JavaScript frameworks coming now, guys, okay. The current market, like in the market, React is having a good scope. But maybe after 4 or 5 years, maybe Vue will take over the market. Okay, because they are working on the framework, you will also get nice, good functionalities. But it will take time. All right, guys. So if that is fine, I'll just wind up for today, and the session will be taken over by the next instructor. Right? Ma'am, please do one project at last. Sure, Pradeep. I'll do one project for you. Like I'll show you some application which you can understand out of this 10 days, right? So we cannot make a complex application because it involves time, right? So I hope you would have known about the 100-hour session. You would have seen the curriculum in our website. So that will be covering the entire thing. But I will we will do this justice for what we can do on the 10 hours. Okay, I will do a project. Okay, we will do a project with React. Okay, let us see how far you can understand. Okay, the thing is you should be exposed to these technologies and understand how to start with it, right? And build a project, right? Obviously. You'll also be you'll be assigned one project at the end of this bootcamp. Okay, so you also can take this knowledge, start working on your own and get back to us with the project so that we can guide you. Like when you work on the project, you'll get an idea, right? So what are the things you need to learn, what you have to incorporate, you can get back to us so that we can guide you further, right? Yeah. All right, guys, I'll just share you the source code repository link with the coordinator, so you'll get that shortly. So if that is fine, I'll wind up for today. Thank you all for being here in the session, guys. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time. Bye, all of you. Thank you.